What up, friends? It's me, Colby, here live with you on Wednesday afternoon at 2 p.m. Pacific, my time. I'm always curious what it is your time. Where is your time? Maybe less what is your time, because that's a lot of math for this moment. But where is your time? Where in the world are you? Where in the world? I'm in San Diego, like Carmen. Not Carmen, the old CCM artist. Although I do remember Carmen. Grew up listening to Carmen. He's a bit of an embarrassment to the religious family now, I think. But man, and women, and non-binary people, it's good to see you all. I'm really excited about today. As you can see, the topic for today is I launched a new thing today, and I'm very excited about it. And I'm going to attempt to talk about it and show you a bit about it here this afternoon. And hopefully it'll go well. And if you have any questions at all, you can always drop it in the comment section below. I'm watching the Facebooks come in, such as Mercy, who very apropos says, "Happy Pride, everyone." Sign off on that. Happy Pride, everyone. See you on the Facebooks. And then I see you over there on the YouTubes. So anyway, this is Perspective Shift. I'm your host, Colby Martin, and we're going to talk about some fun stuff here today. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. See, can I pin that? Pin. All right. If you're on the Facebooks, I believe I pinned the link that you will need today at the top. Now, let's see if I can go over to the YouTubes and do the same thing. YouTube, I'm coming for you. Let's see, real quick. Let me get these links in there, and then we'll get back to the show. Super profesh here, folks. YouTube, your channel, live. Yes, I know I'm live. I am here doing the live thing. Turn that off. Say something. Paste. There it is. That's the link. Okay. Can it pin? Pin message. The pins have happened. This is why in the live streaming world, they recommend having a partner with you to like be the producer person. I just don't have that person. So I do all the things, including copy and paste and pinning messages. All right. Hey, welcome to Perspective Shift, y'all. Today is super fun. Today, I'm going to talk about this brand new thing that I launched today called, boom, UnClobber online courses. What is that, you ask? Well, I'm glad you're here because that is what we're going to talk about today. You know, what happened in a nutshell, is, 10 years ago, give or take, I was fired by a church when my theology on sexuality shifted, when I left my more conservative roots of evangelicalism and embraced a more progressive, expansive, radical, inclusive, grace-filled, compassionate way of viewing the Christian faith, including what we call an open and affirming position towards those who identify LGBTQ. And that shift in theology, specifically that one, because because up here, the belief in my mind was now that all people are loved children of God, regardless of their sexual orientation and gender identity, and that same-sex relationships and marriage, good Lord, can be just as beautiful and sacred and holy as all the other ones. They fired me for that. But that led me to the creation of UnClobber, which was first like a little blog series that I never finished, which turned into a lecture series, which was on the YouTubes for a long time. Then in 2016, I wrote a book, UnClobber, Rethinking Our Misuse of the Bible and Homosexuality, where I combined the story of my termination with my research into the clobber passages. And then a couple years ago, I put out some cheat sheets. And last year, I'm like, what's the next iteration of this thing? How can we take this to the next level? How can we level up UnClobber? And I think it's this. I think it's through these online courses. So we're going to get to that in a minute. Let me get now back to this and just check in, because I asked you all where you were at, and then I didn't actually look. So what do we got here? It's 2:05 wherever Connie's at. Oh yeah, she's down in Ventura, same time zone as me. Sometimes sunny California, representing Glad you're here. We got Michigan in the house. Hello, Haley. Glad you're here. Jana from Switzerland. We've now gone international. Jana from Switzerland, and it's 11 p.m. and you're awake. I hope it's because you want to be awake and not because you're trying to sleep and it's not working. We got Port Townsend, Washington. Where is Port Townsend? I mean, I assume it's on the coast because of the port part. And I assume it's in Washington. We got Erie, Pennsylvania in the house. Hello, Melanie. Glad you're here. That's right, Phil. We are launching. We've launched it, baby. We've launched that course. ATL representing, where we celebrate Pride in October. Yeah. So in San Diego, we celebrate Pride in July as well. Meaning as well, also not in the June month, but that's all right. It's just lots of pride for everybody. Junior, I see you're here. Nice to have you back again. I will say that I will not be responding to any questions today that have to do with the clobber passages. I'm not here to argue, defend, talk about, justify my work. This is not a time to get into the topic of homosexuality in the Bible. This is a time to share about these online courses and to answer any questions people might have about the courses, but not the content. So anyway, just wanted to give that a heads up. That's not just at you, Junior. That's at anybody else who might be here curious about that. Mike K, what's up, Mike K? Glad you're here. 410 in Mo, Missouri? Mo is Missouri, right? M-O? Or is it Montana? No, Montana's MT. I'm really good at these sorts of geographical things. We got Colorado in the house. We got Dallas. How is Texas this time of year, Dennis? Is it hot and muggy already? We got more Texas. We go from Dallas to Wichita Falls. We've got, Susan answers. It's the northeast corner of the Olympic Peninsula. Thank you for that. Jana says, I want to be awake. Okay, good. Then I'm glad you are. I'm glad you are. And then Odette from Puerto Rico celebrates Pride in June as well. That's fantastic. Oh, and then we've got a late submission. Brian Purcell, Nashville, Tennessee, representing. All right, thanks for checking in, everyone. Well, here's what I want to do today and with you, if you would be so interested and or inclined. And this is 10 times out of 10. I think I've always done this with Perspective Shift, which is my newsletter that you can see the URL to scrolling along the bottom. Feel free to head there if you want and subscribe. Is I put on the screen a little computer that has today's article, the article that gets sent out every Wednesday for those who subscribed, and it's free. So just go to that URL there and subscribe if you want. I tend to write about things that have to do with religion, spirituality, and psychology. And today's article is, as all the things I'm doing today and for a while here, is I'm announcing the launching of the UnClobber online courses. So I'm going to just go through this article a little bit with you to share a bit of the backstory and a bit about what it is. And then we're going to actually go into some live demos of what the courses look like and what they are and why you might be so inclined as to go and check them out. Okay? Okay. So the link for the courses I pinned at the top of both Facebook and YouTube. So hopefully you should be able to get those pretty easily. If not, you can always go to unclobber.com, which is kind of the hub for all things UnClobber, and just right there at the top, pew, it'll take you off to the online course page. I wish it had the sound effect, pew, because that would be nice. Indiana's in the house. Hello, Julie. Glad you're here with us. And then Donna Miller coming in from Massachusetts. Happy Pride Month, everyone. I agree. In fact, we're going to applause that. I need to get some, by the way, that reminds me, I've got some really fun things planned for June for this show, for the rest of June for this show, for Pride Month. And no, it's not all promoting the courses. That's not the point. That's what today's about. But then coming up, I've got some exciting things and some exciting people joining me from all over to celebrate Pride. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. All right. Here is today's Perspective Shift article, which I've just titled, Today is Launch Day. The UnClobber online courses are here. And it goes like this. Friends, I'm so excited. hence the all caps shouting. For the last, and that's a really small text, isn't it? See if I can make the text a wee bit bigger. Oh, it's really small on my screen too. What if I do that? Yes, that's better. One more? Okay. Now we're in it to win it. Now I don't have to be like this. Okay. For the last 7 months, I have logged, give or take, about 200 hours building something that I hope will continue to expand the awareness that the Bible does not justify discrimination against LBGs, and I'm going to rebrand it, LGBTQ people, or you LBGs. The Bible doesn't provide justification to discriminate. It doesn't. And I have spent the last 10 years or so trying to get that message out. And so without further ado, I'm stoked to introduce my all new UnClobber online courses. And these are in-depth, personal, and dare I say, fun? I did it. I said it. In-depth, personal, fun ways to explore the clobber passages and discover that the church is wrong and has been wrong in its belief that LGBTQ people are inherently broken or damaged or in need of altering, any of that garbage. Here's a quick video explaining more. And I'd love to play that video for you, but I'm not going to do it through that. I'm going to do it over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just click that little video. I actually forgot to have this queued up, but you don't mind. You don't mind waiting just 5 seconds while I load the video. This is just a little 2-minute commercial that I made for this. Irma Gersh, where is it? I can't find, okay. My folders were not in alphabetical order suddenly, and I had a hard time adjusting. Okay, launch video, here we go. See you back here in just a minute or two. Enjoy. After 28 years of a committed allegiance to the world of evangelical doctrine, in 2010, I said, see ya. But it's not me, it's you. Specifically, your anti-LGBTQ theology rooted in tragic and toxic misunderstandings of the Bible. Then, about a year later, the church that I was pastoring at fired me when they learned of my new theological convictions. Specifically because I no longer believed the Bible condemns those who identify as LGBTQ. 2 years after that, I went ahead and compiled all of my research into the clobber passages, and I presented them for the first time in a lecture series that I called UnClobber. And these videos have since been viewed on YouTube over 30,000 times. Then in 2016, I combined my story of how studying the Bible led me to become an open and affirming Christian, which led to my pastoral termination, with my research from the clobber passages, and I published my first book, UnClobber, Rethinking Our Misuse of the Bible and Homosexuality. Since its release, it's sold over 20,000 copies, it's been translated into Spanish, and it continues to usher people into wholeness through theological liberation. But not everyone has the patience to watch a full YouTube lecture, or maybe the interest in reading an entire book. So then in 2018, I created my UnClobber one-page cheat sheets, attempting to distill the best of my research into easy to read and understand PDFs. These little guys have now been downloaded like 5,000 times in the past couple years. And now I'm ready to take UnClobber to the next level. Introducing UnClobber online courses. These in-depth courses are designed to show you, once and for all, that any attempt to use the Bible as justification for anti-LGBTQ beliefs is, in a word, wrong. And I'm tired of it, I know you're tired of it, it really is time we do better. So I've created 4 mini courses, one for Genesis 19 and the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, one for both those passages in Leviticus where we've been told that to be gay is an abomination, of course one for Romans chapter 1, perhaps the most misunderstood of all the clobber passages, and then finally a course that combines 1 Corinthians 6 and 1 Timothy to show just how incorrect the church has been to call homosexuality a sin. Each mini course features over an hour of instruction, spread out over 7 video sessions filmed in high definition with interactive graphics. Plus, I've created an all-new UnClobber workbook to guide you through each course. And finally, Each course includes the audio files of the teaching, in case you're more of a listen while you do the dishes sort of person. Doing this work has truly been one of the highlights of my life this past decade. I'm blown away, every week, hearing from people whose lives have been forever transformed because of UnClobber. And I can't wait to see how these new courses will continue to reveal what I believe to be fundamentally true, which is that all people are beloved children of God, just as they are. So head on over to unclobber.com today and check out the all-new UnClobber online courses. And let's keep moving toward a world in which the Bible is no longer misused for the discrimination and the judgment of our lesbian, our gay, our bisexual, our transgender, and our queer siblings. Amen. How fun was that? And yes, Elliot Monroe, I am here. That was just me showing the commercial that I created to promote these courses that I'm launching today, which I am just so thankful, like Odette, when you put "this is awesome" during that. That was really nice. Thank you for saying that. Man, Donna, I see your comment. Yes, message me through the Facebooks and let's connect. I'd love to be a part of that. Okay, so that hopefully give you an overview of what these courses are and why I'm doing it. And I'm going to try to go back to that scene here now with the after 28 to watch that again. Good gravy. You'd think how often I do this, I would have these this better figured out, but also I'm fine with I don't. So I'm going to put that back on the screen. I'm going to put that back on the screen, and I'm going to keep sharing. So that was the introduction to the online course. That's what's going on here. And in my article that I wrote today, I just sort of shared a little bit from that script. Like, I spent 28 years in that evangelical world, and then I'm like, no, these are not tenable beliefs, especially the anti-LGBTQ stuff. And so I studied the Bible and I studied the Clobber passages, and I realized we've got this wrong. And I've spent the last 10 years of my life dedicated to undoing that damage, to trying to what I want to do is I want to make this work obsolete. I do. If I'm still, so I mentioned in the little promo video that, this book has sold like over 20,000 copies in the last 5 years. And each year it's like sold more than the year before. So it's like climbing in sales, which is great for me, right? And it's great for all the people that are getting access to this material. And it's great for the people who are being liberated. I hope there comes a day when the sales start to decline because this stuff just isn't really needed anymore. I would love to be obsolete. I would love to be completely irrelevant. I would love for this to be like, oh, how adorable that back in 2021, there was still all this effort to try and liberate people from these bad beliefs. But we're not there yet. Okay, we're not there yet, and that's why I'm still committed. That's why I keep trying to figure out new ways to get this out there. Like, it really is driven by that. Like, how else can we continue to spread the word that the Bible has been misused to justify discrimination against those who identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer, or Phil, like we said a minute ago, the LGBs, which I don't know that that's going to catch on. So anyway, yes, I left the evangelical world. And they kicked me out. It was mutual. Everybody was happy with me leaving the evangelical world. So I've created these courses now, and I've launched them this week, and they're these highly focused. So the book, if you've read the book alternates chapters between engaging with the Bible and telling a bit of my story about shifting away from the evangelical world on this. But these courses, they bypass the story stuff, except for, I'll show you in a minute here. One lesson in the course covers that, but really it's like an hour of in-depth teaching. And you saw in that promo video there a little bit of the clips, and I'll show you here in a minute more of what that looks like. But it's me, and it's here in the studio, but that is a green screen so that I can use like interactive graphics, because I provide you a PDF workbook with fill in the blanks. Who doesn't love a good fill in the blank that you can follow along with? And anyway, super, super stoked for how these all came together. And what I did is I broke them into 4 courses. There's one for Genesis, covering the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. There's one that addresses both those passages in Leviticus and the whole idea about abomination. There's one that covers Romans 1, which I think is the most misunderstood clobber passage and the funnest one to unclobber because of what I think is really going on there and what the implications are for that. It's pretty freaking rad. And then there's one that kind of combines Corinthians and Timothy because they're so similar. So 4 mini courses, if you will. And each of those mini courses include an hour of teaching. So if you get the Genesis course, it's going to be like an hour of focusing on Genesis. If you get the Leviticus, it's going to be like an hour, give or take. And those are spread out over 7 sessions. So it's not just like it's not just you hit play and then you stare at this face and listen for an hour. But it's broken up into sessions and like sections of the course that cover different materials. So you can do it all in one fell swoop if you want, or you can sort of break it up and go at your own pace. Super cool. Filmed in high definition. Like I said, I provide a PDF workbook that you can download or you can keep on your computer and follow along. I'm just tuning into some of your comments here. So professionalistic. Thank you, Phil. Alex, of course it's better late than never. So glad that you're here. I love it. Melissa, UnClobber literally saved my life. Thanks, Mel. I liked you. Brian Purcell, when you say 28 years, are you including your time as a baby? Yes, I am, Brian Purcell. Because if evangelical parents aren't raising the kids in the ways that they shall go from the time they were knit in their mother's womb, then they're just not doing it right. But yes, from birth till 28 were my evangelical heyday years. But yes, I am. Mike says, oh, these look great. Thanks, Professor Martin. I like that title. That one I have not ever been called. A couple weeks ago, I talked about all the other things I get called: false prophet, heretic, wolf in sheep's clothing, but never professor. So thanks, Mike. I appreciate that. Yes. Oh, Victor, what's up? Victor, you rock. Oh, funnest. Definitely funnest. I'm in funnest. I make up words whenever I need them. All right. So, back to the course. So then I also provide the audio files for each lesson, because sometimes you may want to just, like I listen to podcasts all the time while I'm doing dishes, folding laundry, and maybe car trip, whatever. They're there if you want them. Okay. Easy MP3s, load them up, and you can take them on the go. And then what I did is, so then those 4 mini courses that I'm calling that are each like an hour long, you can get those individually a la carte, which means what again? A la carte. And I know like generally it means by itself, but what's the literal translation? Or you can bundle them all together and get the UnClobber suite. How sweet is that? You can bundle them all together and you can save over like 20%. I don't know, but you definitely, there's a significant discount if you get them all together. And then you get access to all of them, which is fantastic. So when you get the suite, not only do you get all 4 of the courses I listed, but bonus, you get a mini course on Unix. And who isn't looking to learn more about Unix in the ancient world? So the UnClobber suite, if you get that, you're going to get like more than 4 hours of teaching, both in the video and audio formats, spread out over like 30 video lessons with like a 40-page PDF workbook when you put it all together. And you get the Unix mini course. Okay. So again, the links, if you're watching this on Facebook or YouTube, should be pinned to the top of the page. Will take you and you can check out or the courses, or you can always go to unclobber.com, which is the hub for all things UnClobber. So then who might these courses be for? Well, I'm so glad you asked. For far too long, the church has misused the Bible to justify their discriminatory beliefs and their practices against those who identify as LGBTQ. And I grew up in the conservative church, learning and then reciting the traditional answers regarding, quote, the sinfulness of homosexuality or the wrongness of same-sex relationships. But then I actually studied what the Bible does and does not say, and it changed everything. So if you too are looking for theological liberation in this area, because maybe you yourself identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or queer, and you need to hear that the Bible does not condemn you and God does not condemn you. And sometimes that will land differently coming from a straight male pastor. And this has been one of the biggest surprises that I've learned over the years, because there's incredible queer folk out there doing much better work than I in this area. So go find them, and I'm going to actually, like I mentioned earlier in the show, I'm going to bring some of them on over the month to celebrate Pride. Incredible. And at the same time, what I have found is that for some people, hearing this sort of material and learning about this from sort of the same demographically aligned person, straight, white, male, hearing this when that was the same demographic from which they learned that they were an abomination or were told that you need to stop being gay, the damage that came from that voice, there is a type of sort of restorative healing that can, I'm not guaranteeing it obviously, but that can happen when this sort of affirming, inclusive, grace-filled research comes from someone like me. So that's another reason why I keep doing this work, because I'm conscious of how that matters. So maybe you yourself identify as LGBTQ and you need to hear that God doesn't condemn you and the Bible doesn't condemn you. Or maybe you have loved ones who are LGBTQ and you need to revisit. Maybe you've been living in this tension, which was me for a number of years, this tension of my head sort of firmly entrenched in evangelical conservative doctrine, but my heart was like, ugh, but why are we treating them so poorly? Maybe if you find yourself in that similar boat, and you have people you love that identify as queer in some way, maybe this is for you, so that you can hear the Bible in a fresh new way. Maybe you just want to be better informed ally in this space. Maybe you're like, I'm already good to go. Like I'm already fully affirming and accepting of my gay brothers and sisters and siblings, and yet I'm not always super competent or easily able to respond to people when they ask me why, or when they're like, have you ever read this Bible verse? If that's you, and if you just want to be a better ally in that way, to be able to know this stuff a bit deeper and be able to respond, and really shoulder some of the burden of this, right? Because we don't want to ask our LGBTQ siblings to have to argue for their own existence and their own inclusion. In many ways, that's the work of those who identify as straight. So maybe that's you, and these courses would help you understand this stuff better. If that's you, then check them out. Or maybe you attend a church, or maybe you're part of leadership in a church, and you're in this process of discovery. You're in this process of moving your community toward being an open and affirming space. Then these courses are perfect for you. In fact, fun fact, since these courses have gone live, I've already received several inquiries about group, the ability to do these courses as a group, which was something I knew I wanted to offer, but I wasn't quite able to get it all together in time for launch day. But that is the plan. Is to be able to sell this course in a fashion where it's easily accessible for groups. So if you have 10 people in a group, you don't want all 10 people don't have to buy the course. That's ridiculous. So you can just sort of buy a package that allows multiple access codes for the platform. So that's coming soon. But anyways, I'm super stoked about the possibilities for that. So if you go to a church or part of a church that is in this process or needs to be in this process, quite honestly, send them my way. Or let them know about this. Be like, hey, here's a way that some high quality, go at your own pace. Easy to put a group together for this, to go through it together. Anyway, super fun. Great. So then, last thing I'll say, and then we'll jump over into the live demo mode. I will check over in the comments. Somebody said, according to Wikipedia, a la carte is French for according to the menu. That's less fun. I thought it was like all by itself. But thank you, Brian. A whole buffet of goodness. That's right. It's a bonus. Oh, yes, Alex. I haven't, one thing at a time. So Alex is referencing that for weeks now, I've been teasing that I'm going to shift away from the name of this live show because I've been calling it Perspective Shift, but that's like the name of my weekly newsletter. And it just got confusing to have the live show and the newsletter be the same thing. So I have a name and I have a whole plan for it, but I'm going to get through June. I'm going to get through the UnClobber course launch. I'm going to get through Pride Month. And then I think in July is when I'll shift it over to the new name, the new brand. Josiah says, I'm wrestling with all this stuff, and I'm unsure of some positive affirmations of LGBTQ people. If the Bible doesn't speak against it, does it speak for it? What a great question. What a great question. I'll say, and again, I said at the top that this really isn't the point of this show today. It really isn't to dive into the content in that way, but I hear you and I see you, and I would say to ask, does the Bible speak positively about those who identify as LGBTQ is to ask an anachronistic question of the scriptures, which is to say that 2,000 years ago plus, because then you include the Old Testament, while yes, it's been true that humans have, I imagine, since the dawn of Homo sapiens, we have been aware of sort of this fluidity of sexual attraction and aware that there have always been people among us who are more drawn towards people of the same sex than the opposite sex. There has not been any sort of clinical awareness or terminology for it. So the term, like I get into arguments with people online all the time because I'm like, the Bible does not say homosexuality is not a sin. And they say, yes, it does. And I say, no, it doesn't. And then they copy and paste Romans 1:26 or 1 Corinthians 6:9. And I'm like, read it again. Nowhere in there does it say homosexuality is a sin. And my point is the term homosexuality is only within the last several decades term, which is a way to sort of put language to the idea that some people have this through this cocktail of nature and nurture, this innate orientation that they did not choose of being attracted to people of just the same sex. That is same sexuality. They're drawn towards people of the same sex. So anyway, is there anything in the Bible that affirms homosexuality? I think is asking a question that honestly the Bible can't answer because the authors were not aware of or did not think of it in that way. So I think a question that the Bible can answer is what are some of the ways in which the authors of Scripture viewed what it means to be human? How did they see the sort of imprint of the soul of a human being? And I'm thinking of like early creation stories of the creation of human as being good and being created in the image of the divine. And in the New Testament, talking about being children of God, beloved of God. So for me, it's less about can the Bible be pro-homosexuality, much as can the Bible be pro-human? And I think the answer to that is yes. And then UnClobber is and then the verses that have been ripped out of their context that justify this discrimination have been totally misused. And that's what the material is about. Anyway, great question. Great question. Bye, Elliot. Love you too. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks so much, Bethany. I appreciate that. Right, Merce? Doesn't that sound nice? I mean, I don't think I'd watch it. I have seen enough of myself. Good Lord. I've watched these videos enough. Okay. So now back to today's article here, the UnClobber Scholarship Program. Okay. So if you saw the earlier promo video, I mentioned that UnClobber, one of the earliest iterations were these YouTube videos that have been viewed 30,000 times. And those have always been free because it's on YouTube. And then I give the PDF cheat sheets are free. And then I've had people that have just emailed me and said, hey, I would really like to read UnClobber, but my life situation is that I can't afford it. And I'm like, I'll just send you a copy. Like I don't, my fundamental philosophy, I put it right there. My fundamental commitment is that money should not be a barrier to wholeness via theological liberation. It should not be something that people have to pay for. Wholeness is too important. Over the past decade of doing this ministry, I've seen firsthand how many of the people who need this material the most are oftentimes those who are in situations where they don't have access to the resources they need. Thinking of like young people who identify as queer, but they live in a household or a situation where it's unfriendly for them. They're not going to have, they might have enough money for a book, but they're not going to have enough money for an online course. Come on, that's unreasonable. And so when I built these courses, I knew I had to make sure that there would always be a way for people to get this stuff for free. Like I would not launch this course until that was a possibility. And so I've created the UnClobber Scholarship Program. And it's simple. If anyone needs or just quite frankly wants these courses, but they do not have the resources for it right now, I will just give it to you free of charge. Seriously, no questions asked. There's not like a test. You don't have to send me your IRS form. Like none of that. It's just, if you need it, if you want it, and you can't afford it right now, click that link, and it's just, you can have it, access to it, all yours. Okay. And then I thought, well, that's super, like that, I need to do that. That makes sense. And then I thought, and also a lot of people, and this is a lot of you who have connected with me over the last several years, they may not necessarily need these courses because they've maybe already read the book, although this goes deeper than the book. But the point is they've already been unclobbered, right? Like it's like a past tense, like they've found the theological liberation. And now they're in this place where they're like, yeah, and I want to support the ongoing work of this because this stuff is too important. It matters too much. And so I created a scholarship sponsor program where people who, it's not that they're buying the course per se, but what they're doing is they're funding the scholarship program for those who need the course and can't afford it. And so you can head over to the website and check out the scholarship sponsor program. I've got 3 levels, 3 ways at which you can be a sponsor. And those those will come with perks like free access to upcoming workshops. I'll send you free autographed copies or send them to people of your choosing. You can designate people who you'd like to receive the courses. Anyway, so that's all there. But the point is like, if you don't need these courses, but you realize that these courses are needed and you want to help fund the scholarship program, I've created some pretty easy ways for you to do that. Can I just tell you, within minutes of the course going live today, already I had someone immediately sign up to become a sponsor. And as I said, there's 3 levels, right? They chose like what's called the legacy sponsor, which was the highest one. They're like, this stuff is just too important. And I want to make sure that as many people get it as need it. And I was just like, oh, this is fun. This meaning like just being in the flow of the universe and saying yes to God, like, all right, I'll just keep showing up. I'll just keep doing this work and then put it out into the world and just see what happens. And then people show up and it's really, really freaking rad. So we'll see that here in a minute when I go over to the live demo. And then finally, as we've already mentioned today, happy Pride to everybody. And for the month of June, if you enter the promo code PRIDE21 at checkout, you'll save 21%. Why 21? Because the year's 21, Pride 21. Get it? So if we ever make it to Pride 100, then you can 100% off. How would that work? No, then it would be Pride 00. I can do Pride 100. That's fine. So when we get to the year 2100, the promo code will be, okay, moving on. All right, and then there's that. So that is today's perspective shift article, which again, you can always get by going to colbymartin.substack.com. Now, let's head over for a minute and let's preview what these courses look like. Okay. So for YouTube, I'm probably going to end that video there later. And then I'll upload this second part, which is like a live demo, or I'll just keep it all together and that will be an awkward long pause. I don't really know. So now let's go to, actually, I'll check into the comments a little bit before I move on. Oh, good. I'm glad my answer got a thumbs up, Josiah. What's up, Fred Freeman? Good to see you. I feel like it's been a minute since you've joined. I'm glad to have you. Glad to have you. Right, Mercy? Money should not be a barrier to wholeness. Yeah. Yeah. I've been in and out of therapy, different seasons, different therapists for the last like 6 or 7 years. And it's always moved me that they all have sliding scales. They're like, yeah, if you can't afford my rate, then what can you pay? And it's just, yeah, like obviously people need to be paid for their work, paid for their time. And sometimes like this just stuff matters too much. So anyway, that's what hopefully the sponsor program and all of that. Yes, good, Alex. I'm glad you're feeling me on that. Which I'll say this. I mentioned the YouTube lectures that have been online for like 7 or 8 years now, and they're not the best format, and they're not the best updated version of my research. So they're kind of outdated in a couple ways. And so to get ready for this launching of the course, I trimmed those videos down to just like a couple minutes as like a preview, and then said in the description, like, these have been free for 8 years. Now they've been updated and turned into courses. Here's the links. And understandably, people have been bummed out by that. I've had multiple comments and messages like, I can't believe that these videos are no longer on here. Like, I've loved sending these videos to people, and people shouldn't have to pay for this. And I understand it. I get it 100%. It's frustrating that a thing was always free and now it's not. And so that's why, again, if people need to know, like this, go just get it for free. If you have someone that you know that needs this stuff and they can't afford it, they can get it for free. I love this, Troy. We need to continually unclobber ourselves to counter a lifetime of internalized toxic shame. Say it louder for the people in the back. I am with you. Ricardo, good news. It already is. It already is translated into Spanish. In fact, I see you're on Facebook. Okay. I'm going to invite people to just be patient for a second, because I'm going to get the link for Ricardo. Nope, that's not it. Again, we're live here and I'm doing a thing, so everybody can just hang tight. I'm going to get the link for Ricardo. It is called Desarmar in Spanish, and it is on Amazon. I'm looking for the link. That didn't work. Trying it again. I don't know if it's just, it might be just in the UnClobber section. Okay, here it is. Get link. Text, short link, copy. Now go to, I'm over here on Facebook already. So, hey, Facebook watchers, there's the link to get it in Spanish. And now, thanks for your patience, everybody. We're going to get to a live demo here in a second, once I can drop this comment in on Facebook. So, Ricardo, this is the link to get it in Spanish. Boom, there it is. Hopefully that'll show up. Okay. So yes, to answer your question, it is in Espanol. All right, Alex, let's get to the preview. Enough of this tomfoolery. Here we go. So we're going to throw over on the screen here. That is the article that we already read today. So if you go to unclobber.com right now, like I said a couple times, this is kind of the main hub for all things UnClobber, where you can get the online courses, where you can get the free cheat sheets, where you can get the book. And so I'm just going to click here to go over to the course area, the courses. The Bible does not condemn LGBTQ people. Be liberated from bad and harmful teachings. Get started with my free intro course. Ooh, a free intro course? Tell us more. Well, you can if you want, by the way. And this will save you 20% as well. This will always be an option for you. But again, for the month of June, you can just do Pride 21 and save 21%, which is even better. But you can also take this free intro course, which just like 5 quick sessions. I think it's like 10 minutes long altogether. Tell you a little bit about what the course is. And at the end of it, I'll send you a code for 20% off any course or workshop. Yeah. So that's the free intro course. But then if you keep scrolling down, you'll see that there's the little promo video that I shared with you earlier. We're not going to watch that again. And then you get into the main part of the site, and you can shop for single courses. You can shop the entire suite, like I mentioned. There's the free intro course. There's a bit about me. God, so many pictures of me. Who built this thing? There's the free intro course again. Scroll down. Here you can see Genesis, Leviticus, Romans, Corinthians, and Timothy have been combined because they're virtually the same. A little bit on what you can expect from the course. We talked about this earlier. Each course is filmed in high definition, includes interactive graphics. You get the audio files for every course. You can download those and listen to them on the go or while you're doing the dishes or folding laundry, and a PDF workbook for each one to fill in the blanks. For each course. And so they're the UnClobber suite. So if you bundle all of that together, it's $147 for the entire suite for access to all 4 mini courses, as well as access to the bonus course on Unix. And then right now, again, with the promo code PRIDE21 to celebrate Pride, you'll get 21% off of that. So I think your total price is like $116, $115 or something like that for all 4 courses. That's what my friends Brian, Glenn, and Rob have to say about UnClobber. And then here is a link to the scholarship program. Okay. So this is what I talked about a minute ago. If you need it, but you can't afford it, you can head to the scholarship program. And, there's a little video about the scholarship program. Both how it is that you can get my online courses for free and how you can help support this scholarship program. Over the past decade or so, as I've been doing this ministry, we're not going to watch that whole thing, teaching people how the... Thanks for sharing, Colby. So that's how you get the UnClobber courses for free. Scroll down a bit, and you can become a scholarship sponsor. And there's FAQs. What is the program? What is sponsor? All that. It's a really slick website. I'm really proud of how it came together. I invite you to just peruse it and check it out, just because I built it, and I would love you to see it. That's all. Whether you buy anything, doesn't matter, but just look at it. You can become a scholarship sponsor, and this is where you choose one of 3 different sponsor levels to join me in this work and to help fund that scholarship program so that it can be given away for free. And so you can see here that there's a partial sponsor, $50. There's a full sponsor for $150, and then there's the legacy sponsor for $500. And each one covers various things, and you end up getting, like you see here, for the partial sponsor, I'll send you 1 free signed copy of UnClobber, or you can tell me a person to send it to, and I'll send it to them. If you do the full sponsor, I'll send you 3, or you and 2 of your friends. Again, just let me know where to send them. Send you 3 signed copies of UnClobber, plus you get a free registration for any future UnClobber workshop, because in the future, here soon, I'm going to start running just Saturday workshops where people can just show up live and hang out with me for 4 hours, and we'll go through the whole program together. Those will be fun, but we're not quite there yet. Or legacy sponsor, where you get 5 signed copies and then 3 registrations for the UnClobber workshops in the future. And again, here's some FAQs for that. So then let's just say you've purchased, maybe we'll go to the store. So you see what the store is like. Did it go to the store? And again, if you have any questions about any of this, I'm seeing your comments here. Talking American just bought the set. Applause. Talking American gets a gold star. You've won already the day. Not that it's a competition. Unless you're an Enneagram 3 like I am, then everything's a competition. Colton, thank you. That means a lot. I appreciate the kind words there. Alex, that particular shade of orange is very orange. So it is very orange. It's not as orange in real life. When it's coming through my second computer into the first computer and into the little preview window here, it's super orange. It's a little less orange. It's an aggressive orange here, but it's a more soothing, calm orange once you're in the actual site. I promise. All right. Oh yeah. So let's say you here's the store. Let's say you've purchased the suite or one of the mini courses. Then once you have all that, you'll create a little account here on the platform and you'll have your own library. So then you go into my library and these are all the courses that I own. I've got them all because they're that good. So I have all the mini courses here and it shows you how far along you have done in finishing the course, little descriptions of what the courses are. You can see that I finished the free course, so I earned my 20% off coupon. Good for me. Here's the bonus mini course on Unix that's only available once you purchase the suite. And then these I think are irrelevant. Ignore it. No, that's not true. If you if you become a scholarship sponsor or join the program, you'll get information about what all that means in that section here. But again, once you go through the process, it's all really self-explanatory and easy. And also, you can just ask me if you ever have any questions about any of this stuff. So let's say I've purchased the UnClobber Leviticus. So you go into the course, and then look how nice all of this looks. It's just really nice. And there's a little trailer video there that I made back when I created the book. And you can see here what the outline of the course is. There's an introduction. So this little introduction here, all the mini courses include this. So you only have to really watch it once if you get the whole suite. But it's just a way to sort of introduce myself and tell a bit of my story, so that you know a bit of who I am and why I do this work. And you can always, with all these videos, you can go full screen if you want.
Hey, welcome to UnClobber with me, your instructor, Colby Martin.
Well, thank you.
Now, whether you're here just to do one course on one of the Clobber passages, or maybe you have purchased the entire package, either way, I'm excited to dive into this.
So this is like the welcome
with you.
Just kind of get to know a little bit about me and why I do this work.
That
you can see, ooh, look at some of the blanks have been filled in.
To
how fun is that?
Support the idea of slavery. Justify the owning of Black bodies.
Then once you do the
text. Well, we've gotten that wrong. The church used to believe that.
Thanks for sharing. And you can see here, like then you hit complete. Say you finish that lesson, you hit complete, and it just sort of takes you on. Mark is complete. Then it tells you complete. Good job. You can see over here where this is how you download the PDF workbook. This is how you download the audio file for the course. You can head over to, so once you finish the introduction, then you get into the meat of the mini course, and you can see here how it's divided up into different topics and how each one has a, again, the workbook for Leviticus and the audio for this passage. So it's pretty slick the way it all sort of works together. Let's see if we can go back here to, yeah, great. Let's go here, back to my library. So here's what the free, I won't show you that. It's free. You can go look at it on your own time. But anyway, you get the general idea of how it works now. So you buy the course, you get into the course, and then it's just super intuitive and self-explanatory. You watch one video, you hit play, you follow along on the workbook, and when you finish it, you just, boom, click the next one. How great is that? Now, I know that some of you have experience in online courses, and so you're like, yeah, we get it, it's an online course. But others, and this was true for me,
I was fired.
I didn't really have much experience with online courses. Definitely not building them.
That my theology had shifted, and I was now affirming of those who identify.
That's why I'm sharing it with you, in case there's anybody out there who like me that this is kind of
bizarre phenomenon happening on my social media.
Let me know if you have any questions on that. But that's kind of
as word began to trickle out.
It all looks like and how it feels and how it vibes.
Previous church community. About the reason why I had been fired, because the church wasn't super transparent about that. About why I had been fired. Suddenly I noticed that.
What'd you notice?
People in my church who I hadn't spoken to in a long time, since getting fired, began to like copy and paste Bible verses on my Facebook wall.
Did they use cats?
Or memes, like with cats and Bible verses on.
Saw that coming.
As though, I guess the thinking is that, well, shoot, maybe.
By the way, I have to when I edit these videos and make these, I have to constantly mock myself. It's the only way I can stay sane. So I will talk back to myself and make fun of myself constantly. But I won't do it in front of you because it might just be awkward for everybody. Okay, so that, my friends, is the UnClobber online course. And I am just delighted to have gotten to share it with you. Again, if you have any questions about it, don't hesitate to ask. But I'd encourage you to go to unclobber.com and then head over to this online course and check it out. Check out the courses. See if it might be something that you want to invest in, and or if you want to join the scholarship program as a recipient. Again, money should not be a barrier for wholeness and this stuff. Or if you want to join me as a sponsor, then I invite you to consider doing that as well. Little testimonial from the good Reverend Dr. Katie Hayes, the lead evangelist at Galileo Church. Yeah. Okay. So that is that's the live demo. That is the online course. And now we'll head back to this. I actually didn't want to go to that one. Go away, graphic. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. All right. So that's what I had to share with you today, everyone. And I'm really glad that you came and hung out with me. And over the coming weeks, as I continue to launch this, I'll be talking more about it. But here on Perspective Shift, for the rest of June, I'm going to be doing some different things. Like I said, I'm going to be bringing in some guests and really highlight some of the amazing LGBTQ people that are doing some incredible work in the world. And they'll be joining us live here on Wednesdays at 2 p.m. So please put an alert in your phone to remind you to come join us live if you would like. Phil, I should include a director's cut version with my commentary. That is an idea. That's an idea. I don't know that anybody would pay for that, but I know, Alex, it was too much. That's why I eventually had to cut it off. Thank you so much, Susan. Well, Alex would watch the director's cut. That makes one of you. Okay. Thanks, Mercy. Thanks for being with us here today. That's it. It's 3:00. This is the time when I end these things. If you don't know about the Kate and Colby Show, that is a podcast slash live show that my wife and I do on Wednesday nights, which is tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific. And we'll be joined by special guest Deneen Akers. And Deneen Akers is a longtime Seventh-day Adventist and activist for the LGBTQ community. She wrote a book a couple years ago called Holy Troublemakers and Unconventional Saints, which is an incredible, illustrated full picture book all about modern day saints, because she realized that she wanted to raise her kids with this sort of justice-minded, unconditional love of God focused mentality, but without sort of the conservative religious baggage that many of us grew up with. And she's like, I don't have many books. I should make one. And Kate and I are going to talk about that with her tonight. So join us. Come back. It's the Kate and Colby Show, 7 p.m. Pacific on Wednesday nights. So glad you're here. Yeah, the bloopers version, Mike, that would be something. Mercy would pay extra for commentary. Oh, that's funny. All right. Goodbye, y'all. Love you. See you next week. Be well. Where's my outro? It's here. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Perspective Shift. I'm going to now invite you to do one of three things, or do them all if you're an overachiever. First, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to my free Perspective Shift newsletter. You can do that by going to colbymartin.substack.com. This will ensure that each week the articles that I write arrive safely in your inbox. Second, if you're watching this on YouTube, just go ahead and hit subscribe on my channel. That'd be awesome. And or if you're watching this on Facebook, would you click like on my page? For me, this is a win-win, in that it helps me know that you're out there and that you care. Plus, it helps you know when I'm going live. For all my other work, including books that I've written or sermons that I've preached, head on over to colbymartinonline.com. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll join me live next week.